Hi, well here we have a old Valiant CL sedan. Year of manufacture was 1978, and it's been fitted with 6-pack, 3 side draft Del Autos, 45mm, and it's not running right. It's idling at about 2000 RPM, and yeah, I'm just going to sort it out for the owner. Straight up, the owner didn't realise, but it over tightened these nuts, clamping it right up. These are soft mounts. These carburetors need to be mounted softly. They need to be able to flex like that. These little spring washers, to set them up properly, you need to put about a 25-30 thou feeler gauge in that gap and tighten up until it just touches the feeler gauge. These have been cranked right up and they've lost all their spring tension. The new set of gaskets I'm going to drop in there are these Redline soft mounts, and same situation, but they're using rubber instead of the spring. And basically for these, once the nuts touch the surfaces or pull up, you give them another 1.5 turns and that's it. I think that'll solve most of the problems, but I won't know until I've swapped out the gaskets. And then whilst I've got to the part, I'll check what jets and emulsion tubes and whatnot in there, and hopefully they're all pretty much where they should be. The other thing that was on here was one of these fuel regulators. These get fitted a lot when people install Weavers and Del Autos, because see a lot on the internet about maximum pressure being around 2 to 2.5 psi. These were fitted from factory with a standard fuel pump which supplied about 4 psi. Didn't have a problem with flooding them with the standard factory pump, and I've flow tested one of these, and they're lucky to supply about 150 to 200 horsepower before they start to restrict the fuel flow. That was what I found when I tested it. If someone's got a different opinion, so be it, but I'd rather not run one of these style of fuel regulators. I'd rather have a Malpassi or a Holly, something that will definitely flow the horsepower required or fuel required to feed these carburetors. The stock fuel pump should be good for up to close to 400 horsepower, 350 to 400 horsepower. Once you're going over that, you probably should look into electric fuel pump. Removed the carbs, installed new soft mount gaskets. They've all been installed properly. The float levels, according to spec, are not right. They're sitting at about 8mm from the top of the from the gasket face to that edge of the float. They're supposed to be 17 from the specs I can find. So I just need to adjust that. The thing I don't really like the look of is all these nuts just sitting around next to the intake. They're all quite loose, so I've put some Loctite on them and tightened them all back up. There's a bit of an ominous sign. This one here is missing its nut. Makes you wonder whether it's gone in the carb. I doubt it, but gee, I'd hate to think so. And yeah, so I just need to set up the linkages. The pedal is at full throttle now, so that's how it was set up. So yeah, it needs to be all readjusted. Alright, there's an update on the 6-pack Valiant. Just to run through what I did. Fitted a new Holly fuel pressure regulator that's set at 2.5 psi. This will have no problem flowing enough fuel for this motor. mounted the fuel manifold. Installed new soft mount gaskets. Tuned the idle. It's idling now at about 650, 700 RPM quite nicely. Also fitted a harmonic balancer retaining boss or plate, a bit more like a boss. You can see right down there. Valiant's rely on an interference fit, and they have a habit of coming loose if they've been changed a couple of times. This one was coming forward and kept throwing fan belts off because the pulley was out of alignment. So that's fixed that problem. I've put a shorter belt on to get the back of the alternator away from the fuel pump, stop it from shorting out. The other thing is the rocker cover was leaking out oil. Common problem with these is they crack under the spot weld on there. I've TIG welded that up, and it also cracked around the back of that bolt. So it's all been welded up, new gasket. So let's fix the oil leaks on the rocker cover, and I'll go and start it up. It's all running pretty good now. No smoke. It was billowing lots of black smoke before, and there's no smoke at all coming out the back end. So there you go.